Hi parents, welcome to this GT Awareness session online. This is for parents who want to know more about gifted education in Northside and at Northwest Crossing Elementary School. My name is Mary Cedio and I am the GT and Enrichment Specialist at Northwest Crossing. The vision of the GT and Advanced Academic Department is to provide unique programs that nurture the abilities of high-performing students while fostering parent and community involvement through gifted and talented, advanced placement, pre-AP, and dual credit classes. Our mission is to build a challenging learning environment that encourages lifelong learning, nurtures high self-esteem, expands access to higher education, and provides experiences that enable students to reach their fullest potential as independent thinkers. What's a gifted kid? It's based upon the work of Dr. Joseph Renzulli's concept of giftedness, which addresses the student's intellectual ability, creativity, and task commitment. Northside Independent School District recognizes that all students are entitled to a program of educational experiences which provide opportunities to maximize the development of their capabilities. Let's talk about the difference between a bright child and a gifted child. Gifted children know the answers, they're very interested and attentive, they're hard workers and have good ideas, they like to answer the questions in the class, they're often in the top group, they listen with interest, they learn with ease in 3 to 8 repetitions, they understand ideas, enjoy their peers, grasp the meaning, they complete their assignments, they're good learners, they're good students, they copy correctly, they enjoy school, they're alert, and they're pleased with their own learning. Gifted children, on the other hand, are often the children who are asking the questions. They're very highly curious. They are very mentally and physically involved. They have wild and silly ideas. They play around and goof around, and yet they still test well. They discuss things in detail and elaborate. They usually go beyond the group. They show very strong feelings and opinions and can even be obstinate at times. They tend to already know things because they can learn in 1 to 2 repetitions, so they might have seen something on TV, and they're able to incorporate that and generalize it to other situations. They prefer the company of adults oftentimes. They draw inferences well. They initiate their own projects. They can be very intense. They create new designs. They also tend to enjoy learning. They manipulate information. They're good inventors and guessers. They thrive on complexity. And they're keenly observant, and they're often very highly self-critical. The program goals of the Alpha program are to provide, guide, implement, and promote. We provide an enrichment program to stimulate the talents of GT students. We guide students in developing a healthy self-concept and acquiring complex skills for collaboration, conflict resolution, and teamwork. We implement the principles of divergent thinking and foster the high-order thinking skills of analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. And we promote creative problem-solving for real-world issues. The Continuum of Services in Northside starts with differentiated instruction in the mainstream classroom, and that is important for all children in Northside, no matter what their level is. The next step is me, the GT Enrichment Specialist, as a resource to the mainstream classroom teacher to aid in that differentiation, particularly for our higher students who need more of a challenge than the regular curriculum. The next level at elementary school involves our pull-out enrichment program, in which they come to see me, and we do a separate curriculum that we'll talk about a little bit more in just a moment. And the highest level is our Alpha program, or Advanced Learning Program for High Achievers, and that is for our students who qualify as a GT, or Gifted and Talented Student. Let's look at elementary Alpha services. Our primary students, who are in grades 1 and 2, come to Alpha class approximately 2 hours per week. Our curriculum is meant to nurture creative thinking and independent thought. They will study in a small group with me a different theme each year. This year that theme is law and justice. We will also explore the affective attributes of giftedness. For our kinders, I will go in and do kinder lessons during the beginning of this school year in September and October, and we will screen for students who show gifted potential, and then they are tested in November. intermediate classes, which is grades 3 through 5, also come to see me weekly. In 3rd and 4th grade, they come to see me for a half day, and in 5th grade, a full day. They also study in small groups. This year's theme will be Law and Justice. We will also explore affective attributes of giftedness. Here at Northwest Crossing, we are doing a cluster program, meaning that we are working towards having our GT students in a class together so that even during the week, they can work together on higher level projects and projects that are geared towards their particular type of learning. In Northside, we also do offer credit by examination. In middle school, that's grades 6 through 8, students will choose their gifted class in one of their content areas. They can choose one per year in any of these areas. In the areas that they do not choose to take their GT class in, they can also be in the pre-AP classes, which is also a higher level or advanced class. We do offer credit by examination, and in middle school, 7th graders can participate in our mentathlon, which is an amazing 2 days of mental challenges, problem solving, and teamwork. In high school, we offer a GT leadership course for 9th and 10th graders who are interested in learning about leadership, an independent study mentorship program for juniors and seniors who will work in the field with an expert in that particular field of their interest, seminars that are held throughout the year and students may sign up to attend, credit by examination, dual credit, which are college classes that they actually take through Northwest Vista, but they can stay on their regular high school campus, and their high school teacher is adjunct faculty at Northwest Vista, and they will get college credit for those classes. Or the dual enrollment or UT on-ramp classes, which they will also get college credit for taking. However, in this program, they are actually enrolled at the University of Texas. They take these classes through their high school, so they don't have to actually leave their high school campus. They will have 2 teachers, a high school teacher and a college professor, so they will receive credit at high school level and at the college level at the same time. The college professor writes the test so that the students are actually taking the same examinations and doing the same work as a student who's sitting at UT on the UT campus. When they leave, they will leave with college credit from the University of Texas, which is transferable anywhere in the world. In elementary school, let's get back to those enrichment classes. Enrichment classes are for students who require a little bit more of a challenge than what's in the regular classroom. They will still be differentiated for in the regular classroom. They do not need to test or qualify for enrichment classes. They will be placed in enrichment classes based on teacher recommendation and student need. In our enrichment classes, they pull out and they come see me once a week, and they participate in multidisciplinary process-oriented mini-studies. Our focus is differentiated learning for academically high students, and our goal is to prepare students for higher education, and we really believe that that begins in elementary school. With our 3rd through 5th graders, we'll be focusing on math this year with a hands-on algebra curriculum. And with our primary students, we'll be working on creative and divergent thinking and problem solving through various activities throughout the year. Additional enrichment opportunities at Northwest Crossing include Destination Imagination, Young Astronauts, Solar Cars, Student Council, Choir, the Cardinal Pride Media Team, the Northwest Crossing Musical, Art Club, Coding Club, Book Club, Cardboard Arcade, Caring Cardinals, and Acorn Club. As these programs are held before or after school, they are open to all students at Northwest Crossing because it doesn't take them out of any academic time during the school day. If you'd like to know more about Destination Imagination, please join me for the DI Interest Night on September 10th from 5 to 6 p.m. right before the PTA meeting in the cafeteria. Let's get down to the identification process. This is where we differentiate between our high learners or bright students and our GT students. It begins with awareness, and that is this video. If after you've watched this video you feel like your student or your child needs to be recommended for the GT program, you can talk to their teacher and they can refer them, or you can refer them straight to me. You can just contact me through an email and let me know that you'd like your child to be tested. Children can be referred for the GT testing program through their teacher, their parent, or through a student. The screening process, we use various GT tests we'll go over here in a second, and then those scores come back to a campus selection committee review. That includes the principal, the GT specialist, and a counselor. And last, we'll notify you of the results of those tests and that committee decision. The screening process. This is a 4-part process. It begins with the behavior checklists. These go to the parent and the teacher because the teacher sees that child all day throughout the school day and has a great way to compare them to other children their age, as they see 22 kids that child's age every single day. You see your child at home in a very different environment, and so we care what you have to say about them and how that child behaves in their environment outside of school as well. The next part is called the Cognitive Abilities Test, or COGAT. This is an abilities test, and we'll go into that a little bit more in a moment, and I'll even show you an example of it. The next is an Academic Achievement Test, and this is the Iowa Test of Basic Skills. And the last test is the Torrens Test of Creativity. So the identification process involves the campus selection committee. The checklist will go home with the parents with permission to test, and they'll fill out the checklist. It will return to me. The student will be tested by the GT specialist here on campus. Assessments are sent out to be scored. It takes approximately 6 to 8 weeks to gather all those scores. Sometimes it will come back faster, but at most it's 6 to 8 weeks. And then those scores go to the campus selection committee, who review and make a decision on whether or not the student needs the GT program in order to meet their fullest potential. So these 3 tests are our quantitative assessments: the Iowa Test of Basic Skills, the COGAT test, or Cognitive Abilities Test, and the Creativity Test, which is the Torrens Test of Creative Thinking. This is a qualitative test. This is the checklist. This is what the checklist looks like. It's much longer than this. This is just an example of it. It will ask you about the characteristics and behaviors you notice in your children, and it asks you to rate them 1 to 4. In your head, please don't compare them to maybe their siblings, because sometimes if they are gifted, they might tend to have gifted siblings as well. Like, we can see that happen. So in your head, you want to rate them compared to the average child age. So this is the 1 to 4. If you rarely or never see it, if you sometimes see it, often see it, or almost always see it. Please don't feel the need to be modest on this assessment of your child. We want a realistic view of your child when they are not at school. This is what the COGAT test looks like. They're asked to make patterns, predictions, group things. They're asked for a number of analogies as well as verbal analogies. This test can't really be prepared for. It is to test their ability. This is an example of the Torrens Test of Creativity. So the students will be given plain, simple shapes, much like these that you see on the right or at the bottom. And students are asked to draw and turn this into the most creative thing they can think of. We look at detail, originality, and elaboration. They do not have to be a good artist. We're just looking for those thought processes. Alpha, again, exists to provide, challenge, assist, and encourage students. We want to provide an atmosphere in which they feel like they can interact with their intellectual peers and with outstanding adults. We want to challenge them to cognitively stretch and strengthen their abilities, and we want to assist students in making career choices which will help them become productive, well-rounded citizens. We also want to encourage students to think not only of what is, but what can be. So if you think your child might be gifted, these are the due dates for the referral to your GT teacher and or your classroom teacher, who will then refer them to me. Thank you for your interest in our GT program. If you want to know more at the district level, this is the website for the district GT program. And if you have any questions regarding Northwest Crossing or questions that you think will be best suited to me, my email is mary.cdio@nisd.net, and I look forward to working with you and your child. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.